If you always have to fight, you may have already lost before you begin. Have you ever wondered why some people never need to compete yet somehow always end up on the winning side? More than 2,000 years ago, Sun Tzu left behind a way of thinking that forced the world to relearn how to face conflict, failure, and the self. But what few people ever tell you is this: those words were not meant for the battlefield. They were meant for your everyday life. In this video, we will break down each group of quotes, uncover the hidden value behind every line, and most importantly, turn Stoic philosophy into practical exercises so you don't just understand, but actually live differently starting today. Stay until the end of the video. You may realize this: the greatest battle was never outside of you. The wise do not ask, "How do I win?" They ask, "How do I avoid losing?" There is a mistake many of us make. That is, we only start thinking when the problem has already exploded, when the argument is already heated, when the job has already fallen apart, when the relationship is already cracked. But the ancient thinking of Sun Tzu and the core of Stoic philosophy does not work that way. They do not live to react. They live to prepare. And this first group of quotes points to a hard truth, but a real one. The best victory is the one no one sees. The greatest victory is the one achieved before the battle begins. When people hear this, many think, "Oh, just another war quote." No. This is a quote about everyday life. What does it mean to win before the battle begins? It means you control your emotions before they explode. You see the consequences before you speak. You ask the right questions before you act. Stoics are not proud of winning arguments. They are proud of staying calm without needing to argue. Because when you have to shout to prove you are right, most of the time you have already lost. Practical exercise. Tonight, before you go to sleep, ask yourself, which battle in my life could have been avoided? What signs appeared that I chose to ignore? Write down 3 situations where you usually react too late. No judgment, just observation. This is the first step of silent victory. To conquer without fighting is the highest form of mastery. Modern society teaches us that the louder person is the stronger one. The one who wins arguments is the smarter one. But Stoicism is the opposite. Someone who masters themselves does not need to defeat others. They understand that some arguments bring nothing, even if you win. Some relationships make right and wrong irrelevant. Some egos become more exhausting the more you defend them. Not fighting does not mean avoiding. It is a conscious choice. You do not strike because you do not need to prove anything. Practical exercise. In the next 24 hours, try this. When someone provokes you, when you feel the urge to respond immediately, pause. Stay silent for 5 seconds. Ask yourself, do I want to win or do I want peace? Write down how you feel afterward. You will realize you did not fight yet, you remained strong. Every battle is decided long before the first strike is made. This sounds dramatic, but it is extremely real. A family argument, a bad financial decision, a toxic relationship that drags on. All of them were decided by small habits you kept ignoring. Stoicism teaches that life does not collapse because of one moment. It collapses because of prolonged neglect. You do not fail because of one bad day. You fail because of many undisciplined days. Practical exercise. Write down one small habit that is quietly making you weaker, one small habit that could make you stronger. Do not change everything. Choose just one thing for this week. Stoics do not believe in explosions. They believe in quiet progress. A battle avoided through wisdom is worth more than 100 battles won by force. Society praises those who fight to the end. But no one tells you this: every battle has a cost. The cost is energy, time, inner peace. Stoics do not ask, "Did I win?" They ask, "Was the cost worth it?" Avoiding a foolish battle is not cowardice. It is the wisdom of someone who has learned how to preserve themselves. Practical exercise. This week, intentionally avoid one unnecessary battle, a pointless argument, a drama that has nothing to do with you, a comparison that drains you. Then ask yourself, what did I save most of the time? You saved yourself. But wait, if victory is not found in fighting, then where is it? It lies in understanding yourself and understanding others. And that is the next group of thinking, where Sun Tzu and Stoic philosophy meet in an unsettling way. Most people do not lose because they are weak. They lose because they do not know where they are weak. There is a harsh truth that Stoic philosophy never avoids. You are not defeated by your enemy. You are defeated by your own blind spots. That is why the thinking of Sun Tzu does not begin with tactics, it begins with awareness. If you do not understand yourself, every strategy is an illusion. If you do not understand others, every confidence is reckless. He who understands himself and his enemy stands undefeated in every conflict. This may be the most important quote in this entire system of thought. Read it again slowly. Understand yourself. Understand others, not one or the other, both at the same time. Many people understand others very well, but deceive themselves or analyze themselves constantly, yet remain naive about others. Stoics are different. They know when they are easily angered, what they are vulnerable to, how they usually react when their ego is touched, and because of that, they are hard to manipulate. You cannot exploit someone who looks honestly at themselves. Practical exercise. Answer honestly on paper. What triggers me the fastest in recent conflicts? Where do I usually go wrong? No excuses, no blame. Stoics do not use truth to punish themselves. They use it to become freer. The enemy's weakness often hides inside his confidence. This is not only about enemies, it is about people in general. Notice this: the one who talks the most often listens the least. The one who appears the most certain is often the most afraid of doubt. The one who always wins arguments is often weak inside. Excessive confidence is often thin armor. Stoics are not blinded by appearances. They observe how people react when challenged, how they deal with silence, how they behave when control slips away. That is where weakness shows itself. Practical exercise, and this week try this. Observe someone you see as very confident, no judgment. Just notice when they lose patience, when they become defensive. Then ask yourself, if I am like them, where is my weakness? This is not to look down on others. It is to stay awake to yourself. When you appear weak, you invite arrogance. When you appear strong, you invite caution. Society teaches us to prove our strength, show our competence. Never appear weak, but Stoics are far more subtle. They understand that strength does not always need to be displayed. Sometimes appearing weak lets others reveal themselves. Silence makes others talk too much. Humility avoids unnecessary battles. Those who lack understanding need to prove themselves. Those who understand themselves do not. Practical exercise. Next time you could prove you are right, try not doing it. No extra explanation, no justification, no counterattack. Just observe what happens. You will realize winning does not always make you stronger, but keeping yourself intact does. But understanding yourself and others is only the foundation. The real question is when emotions surge, when pressure closes in, when things spiral out of control, can you still remain clear? The next group touches the hardest thing most people ignore: inner discipline and calmness of mind. It is not circumstances that break you. It is how you respond to them. If you look back at the moments you regret most in life, they rarely come from lack of knowledge. They come from a moment of anger, a sentence spoken too fast, a decision made while emotions were driving. That is why the thinking of Sun Tzu and Stoic philosophy places the mind before all strategies. Because when the mind is in chaos, every advantage becomes useless. Those who control their emotions control the outcome of war. This is not advice to become cold. Stoicism does not teach you to have no emotions. It teaches you not to let emotions decide for you. Anger is not wrong. Fear is not a flaw. Sadness is not weakness. The question is, do you notice them when they arise or only after everything has fallen apart? Those who control emotions are not stronger, they notice earlier. Practical exercise. For the next 7 days, do one simple thing. Whenever a strong emotion appears, do not act immediately. Silently say in your mind, I am feeling. Name the emotion correctly. That is all. Stoics call this the pause between stimulus and response. And in that pause, freedom begins to appear. Victory belongs to those who remain calm, while others rush forward blindly. Notice this: when people panic, the calm one is seen as slow, the silent one is seen as weak, but in reality, the rushed make mistakes. The calm see the path. Stoics do not run faster than others. They run in the right direction. Calmness is not passivity. It is a strategic advantage. Practical exercise. Next time you feel pressure, a deadline, an argument, an urgent decision, do nothing for the first 10 minutes. Drink water, walk, breathe. Many smart decisions only appear after urgency fades. The disciplined mind turns uncertainty into advantage. Uncertainty is what humans fear most. Not knowing what will happen, not being sure you are on the right path, not controlling the outcome. But Stoics see uncertainty differently. They do not ask, what will happen? They ask, how will I respond no matter what happens? Inner discipline does not remove risk. It prevents collapse when risk arrives. Practical exercise every morning this week. Ask yourself, what today is outside my control? What attitude will I maintain toward it? You do not need to change the world. Just stabilize your stance. A calm mind turns setbacks into strategic positioning. Ordinary people see failure as the end. Stoics see it as data. They do not ask, why did this happen to me? They ask, where am I standing after this? A calm mind allows you to reflect without self-torture, adjust without self-denial, continue without bitterness, and that is something very few people can do. Practical exercise. Choose a recent failure and write down, what did I learn? Is my current position better or worse than before? What is the most reasonable next step? No dramatizing, no sugarcoating. Stoics do not seek pleasant emotions. They seek clarity, but calmness alone is still not enough. Because life does not stand still. Circumstances change. People change. So what keeps you from breaking when everything shifts? The answer lies in strategic wisdom, timing, and preparation. And that is the next group. Not everyone loses because of a wrong decision. Many people lose because the decision was right, but the timing was wrong. There is a paradox in life that few people are willing to admit. You can do everything right and still get the wrong outcome. Not because you are incapable, but because you do not understand timing. And this is where the thinking of Sun Tzu meets Stoic philosophy at a very deep level. No rushing, no showing off, no acting just to feel like you are doing something. True power lies not in force, but in timing and perception. Modern society is obsessed with doing more. But Stoicism asks a different question. Does this need to be done now? Strength is not about how hard you push, how big your actions look. It is about seeing what others overlook, waiting for a moment others cannot wait for. The impatient rely on force. The wise rely on timing. Practical exercise. Before an important upcoming decision, ask yourself, am I acting because of pressure or because the timing is right? If I wait 24 more hours, will I see things more clearly? Not unconscious delay, just deliberate patience. Patience in preparation creates speed in execution. This sounds backwards. Patience, creating speed. But look at people you admire. When they act, it is clean. When they decide, there is almost no hesitation because they have been thinking for a long time already. Stoics do not prepare to show off. They prepare so they do not panic when the moment arrives. The rushed always feel short on time. The prepared are always one step ahead. Practical exercise. Choose one area where you often feel overwhelmed. Work. Money relationships. Write down, what have I not prepared enough for? If I had one more week, what would I prepare? Do not do everything. Just do the one thing that reduces panic the most. The wise commander wins by shaping the battlefield, not by enduring it. Many people live in endurance mode, enduring their job, enduring relationships, enduring a life they did not choose. Stoicism sees this as a strategic mistake. They do not ask, how long can I endure this? They ask, can I change the situation? Change the environment? Change the approach? Change the boundaries? Wisdom is not about gritting your teeth and suffering. It is about not putting yourself in a position where suffering is required. Practical exercise. Look at your current life and ask, what am I enduring that could be restructured? If I cannot leave, can I change the rules? Write down one small but concrete change. Stoics do not wait for perfection. They start from a better position. But even with strategy, with timing, with preparation, what keeps you from breaking when things change suddenly? The answer lies in adaptability. The quietest weapon the strongest people always possess, and that is Group 5. Life does not ask how strong you are. It asks how fast you can change direction when things are no longer the same. There is a hard truth to accept. It is not the strongest who survive, but the fastest to adapt. The world changes. People change. Circumstances shift without warning. And here the thinking of Sun Tzu blends into Stoic philosophy in a cold but honest way. Do not cling to what no longer serves you. Chaos is not an enemy, but a tool for those who can read it. Most people fear chaos because chaos reveals one thing: we do not control everything. Stoics do not try to erase chaos. They read it. They ask, what is changing? What no longer works? What opportunity only exists because the old order is collapsing? Chaos does not destroy you. Stubbornness does. Practical exercise. When things feel messy, write down what has changed. What am I trying to hold on to that no longer fits? If I let go of one thing, what would it be? No polished answers required, just honesty. Adaptability is the silent weapon that never dulls. Strength is loud. Adaptability is not. No one applauds when you adjust expectations, change your method. Quietly take a different path, but those exact actions keep you alive longer, take you farther. Those who cannot adapt say, this is how I've always done it. Stoics say, things are different now. Practical exercise. Ask yourself, is there a belief I'm holding on to just because it's familiar? Is there a habit I defend only because of ego? Choose one thing to do differently this week. Adaptation is not betrayal. It is updating yourself. Confusion among your enemies begins with clarity within yourself. When you are clear, you are harder to pull into drama, harder to manipulate, less reactive to others' emotions. True flexibility does not come from outside. It comes from an undisturbed inner state. Someone who does not know what they want will chase almost anything. Stoics are flexible because they know where they stand. Practical exercise. Write down 3 things you will not compromise on in life. 3 things that can change if circumstances demand it. Clear boundaries create intelligent flexibility. You do not need to be rigid, but you must not drift. But adaptability alone is still not enough. Because there is a kind of power that does not show off, does not compete, yet makes others adjust themselves around you. That is the quiet power of leadership. And that is group 6, where few people realize that silence is sometimes the strongest move. The weak need to be heard. The strong do not need to speak. There is a major misunderstanding about leadership. We think leadership means talking more, being more aggressive, forcing authority. But the thinking of Sun Tzu and Stoic philosophy points in the opposite direction. The greater the power, the quieter it becomes. Those who need to prove they have power usually do not truly have it. A leader who listens sees farther than one who commands loudly. Listening is not a soft skill. It is a strategic advantage. Those who talk a lot reveal their thinking, expose their weaknesses. Mostly listen only to themselves. Those who listen gather information, see motivations, understand what is left unsaid. Stoics do not rush to express themselves. They observe long enough that when they speak, one sentence is enough. Practical exercise in an important upcoming conversation: speak 30% less than usual. Do not interrupt, do not rush to conclusions. Afterward, ask yourself, what did I understand that I didn't see before? Listening does not make you smaller. It makes you dangerous in a very quiet way. Strength revealed too early invites resistance. Strength concealed invites surrender. People instinctively resist what feels threatening. When you show off your abilities, emphasize superiority, insist on being right, you trigger others' defenses without realizing it. Stoics understand this deeply. They do not rush to display strength, do not overpower, do not corner others, and because of that, others lower their guard on their own. Practical exercise. This week, try not mentioning one achievement you have, not emphasizing that you are right, not proving yourself when it isn't necessary. Observe the reactions around you. You may notice people become more open, less confrontational, and respect you more without you forcing anything. But quiet power, wise leadership, flexible adaptation, none of these are the final destination. Because there is a higher victory than all of them, victory over yourself. And that is the final group where Stoic philosophy stops talking about others and speaks directly to you. If you do not master yourself, the world will always master you. After everything we have discussed, victory without fighting, knowing yourself and others, inner discipline, timing and strategy, adaptability and quiet power. All of it points to one place. Not your opponent, not circumstances, not the world, you. And here the thinking of Sun Tzu merges completely with Stoic philosophy, cold but freeing. The final victory, belongs to the one who masters himself before mastering the world. This is not motivational, it is a warning. You may defeat others, climb higher, have more. But if you cannot control your anger, you are dragged by emotions every day. You need validation to feel worthy, then you are still being led, not leading. Stoicism does not promise an easier life. It promises a mindset that cannot be taken from you. Self-mastery means you do not react just to release tension. You do not act just to prove something. You do not live by someone else's rhythm. You choose. You pause. You continue consciously. Practical exercise. Spend 15 minutes in silence. No phone, no music. Write down honest answers. What usually controls me? Emotions, fear, comparison, anger, others, expectations. 2. When do I lose self-control? The fastest: criticism, exhaustion, failure, loneliness. 3. If I could master only one reaction in life, which would it be? No good answers needed, only honest ones. Stoics believe this: someone who conquers the world but loses themselves is still defeated. Someone who loses to the world but masters themselves, no one can take that victory away. If you made it this far, you may have realized something. Life does not need you to be stronger than others. It needs you to be steadier than who you were yesterday. No noise, no display, no need for recognition. Just each day a little calmer, a little clearer, a little more disciplined. That is a victory no one sees but no one can take away. Not everyone who stays until the end of this video needs advice. But if you're still here, you may be ready to live differently. Stoic philosophy does not promise an easier life. It promises one thing only: you will no longer be a victim of yourself. No need to defeat anyone. No need to prove anything. Just each day, react a little slower. Think a little deeper. Choose your actions more consciously than yesterday. That is how the ancient thinking of Sun Tzu is still alive in today's noisy world. If this video made you pause and think for even 10 seconds, it has done its job. And if you want to continue training calmness, learn how to stand firm in chaos, and master yourself in silence, stay. Not for the algorithm, but because your life deserves a steadier mind. We don't meet again in victory. We meet again in self-mastery. Thank you for staying until the end of the video. Wishing you a happy and peaceful life.